See how the university informs students about their voting rights. There is a new proposition on ballots this year. See the response from the community about why people should or shouldn't vote yes for it. And in sports, Jaguar softball, Spurs struggles, and a new all-star high school football game. Welcome to this week's episode of Enlace. I'm your host, Xander Chavarria, where we are located here at Classroom Hall, where I will bring you this week's latest in campus and community news. An event hosted by First Year Experience informed students about their voting rights in 11 different states, all around the USA, showed why it's important to learn about these rights.
So knowing voting rights in different states is really important because it keeps you informed and it lets you know what everybody else is doing, not just Texas, and so it gives you a broader range and it helps keep your mind open to what different people do and different states do and opens up the possibilities.
Peer leaders were located at each station to discuss fun facts, the rules, and regulations to the rights of voting in that state. Various foods, drinks, and novelty items that were related to what's popular in the specific state were also given to those who approached and learned about the suffrage. Not only were the leaders out to discuss these rights, but this event was also to promote the upcoming school year's new common read, Vote for Us, which will be given out starting in the fall. Texas A&M University-San Antonio honored graduating seniors in various student organizations on April 21st at the CAB courtyard. Seniors were presented with their organization, Stoll and Cord. The event was a part of inaugural Senior Week, which included speakers such as President Matson and former Mr. A&M San Antonio, Zach Frankowiak.
Thank God for a brotherhood so broad that all the human race may share, a kinship not outlawed, though types of it have been too rare. Bigotry is doomed to die and hate, a relic of the past. The golden age is drawing near, and all one family at last. And that's surely how I feel in Delta Chi. These men have shared many, many memories and many, many moments, and I only hope to see the trajectory of their life expand and be compounded.
Congratulations to the various student organizations and also our fellow Enlace reporters, Amanda Barela, Marshall Best, Alejandro Diaz, Isabella Rodriguez, and Armando Villarreal. Up next, our reporter Amanda Barela has more on the campaign Turn Texas Teal to raise awareness on sexual assault.
And welcome back. If you did not know, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And joining us today from the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault is training coordinator Crystal Garcia. Thank you for being here with us today, Crystal.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Such an important topic to educate about, especially our college-age students. So with that being said, can you tell us what is sexual assault and does it look the same for everyone?
So sexual assault, the easiest way to define it is unwanted sexual contact from someone else where the opportunity to consent has been taken away. It's typically used as a tool to harm and humiliate and control someone else. So it can be through coercion or force, but most often at the college level, kindness is the weapon that we kind of have to look out for. Most people are usually tricked into a situation they don't want to be in, and they are sexually assaulted by someone they often know, they love, and they trust. So it could be a friend, it could be someone that they have had a class with, someone that is living in the dorms with them, or a roommate's friend or something like that. So there's usually a close bond, and the person who has been sexually assaulted will know the person who's committed the act.
Now, you guys have a great campaign going on this month, Turn Texas Teal. We have these beautiful backgrounds to showcase that. What is that campaign? Is that to educate people on bringing awareness to sexual assault?
So Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month happens all throughout the country, and it's a national initiative led by NSVRC. TASA does a Turn Texas Teal initiative. We started that back in 2016. It's usually a campaign shared through social media, and what it does is it remind survivors there is help and there is support available to them. And then it also connects communities on a subject that we all can agree does not need to be a part of our community and our society.
Now, if somebody feels as if they have experienced sexual assault, what would you recommend that they do?
I would recommend that they reach out for support through their local crisis center. We have quite a few of those all around the state of Texas, and they can be found on our webpage through our crisis center locator, or just Googling a sexual assault crisis center or sexual assault program near me, and that pulls up your local center. There's also the hotline through RAIN that will connect people locally to the center that is closest through them, and they can actually seek support. There's no charges for those support, so they can go in, they can speak confidentially through someone on the hotline or in an in-person meeting, just to find out, I have questions and I want those answered and I want to know what to do next. Victim advocates are always available at no cost to any survivor.
Lastly, is there anything that you would like to leave us?
One thing that I feel like is so important that we can all adopt during Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month is that we can believe people. And if somebody talks to us about having been through this, we can connect them to support, and we can be supportive people around them. And we do that by starting and believing them. And not asking questions about why did you do this or why that, and just really keeping the focus on, I'm here for you, I care about you, and there is help available.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us today and educating on us today on this important topic. And we will continue to turn Texas teal.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Local voters have to decide whether or not to repeal San Antonio's police officers' bargaining power. Armando Villarreal spoke with two officials about the new proposition on the ballot.
Voters will be able to cast their ballots on two propositions, including Proposition B, which was added through a petition by the activist group Fix SAPD.
What Prop B does is it will move us to a new system for our police contract negotiations, where we will actually be able to vote on a contract if we disagree with it, where we can advocate for stronger discipline for bad officers while also protecting the pay of our good officers.
If approved, Prop B would repeal Chapter 174 of the Texas Local Government Code, which halts current negotiations between the city and the police union on the upcoming collective bargaining agreement.
It would be very detrimental to the citizens if we do lose it, because we talk about vehicles, equipment that we need. If the city doesn't purchase and keep adequate vehicles, and it'd be hard for us to get to the citizens when they do call.
Ananda Thomas, Deputy Director of Fix SAPD, says it is time for police accountability.
We have the highest rehire rate for fired officers in the nation at almost 70%, and we have the worst ranked civilian oversight system in Texas. We can change that by creating a brand new contract that works for both our good moral officers following the letter of the law and our community members for accountability.
However, Danny Diaz, president of the San Antonio Police Officers Association, says Prop B would affect recruitment efforts in the future.
Activists are talking about it's about accountability, but that's far from the truth. If it was about accountability, they would have just looked at those two issues on the discipline part, but instead they're taking everything from us. Pay, benefits. Now the city won't be able to hire people. Who's going to want to come work here?
San Antonio residents will have the opportunity to vote for or against Proposition B during early voting until April 27th or on Election Day on May 1st. I'm Armando Villarreal, Enlace.
The Freeman Coliseum and Joint Base S.A. Lackland are now two emergency shelter centers for migrant children in San Antonio. The facilities are housing boys from ages 13 to 17 years old. The Freeman Coliseum is set to house 2,400 children in a 60-day agreement between Bexar County and the Health and Human Services Department that will expire on May 30th. Upon arrival, the children are taken through health screenings and tested for COVID-19. Bexar County providing tables, chairs, and entertainment. HHS is running the facility entirely and providing bedding along with many other essential necessities like food and clothing. Some politicians are calling for a shutdown. Governor Greg Abbott called upon the Biden administration to shut down the housing facility at the Freeman Coliseum in regards of abuse allegations. Since then, a spokesman from the White House released a statement that the allegations would be investigated by HHS. City Council's District 9 candidates answered questions ahead of San Antonio's May 1st election. Armando Villarreal brings us more about the candidates.
Early voting for the City of San Antonio election will include 10 city council districts on the ballot. Various candidates from District 9 gathered at multiple polling sites on the first day of early voting on April 19th. John Courage, who has served for 4 years as a city councilman for District 9, is one of 8 incumbents seeking re-election.
I have focused all my attention on trying to meet the needs and wants and the desires of the people who live in our district. But as a member of the city council, we make decisions that affect the entire city. So as a council person, I've been pleased to work for my district, but for everybody in the city.
Erica Moe, an attorney and candidate for District 9, says she supports law enforcement and advocates in supporting victims of human trafficking.
I care about being fiscally responsible. I care about our law enforcement. We want to work with them and make sure that people in our community who need those protections have them. And I also want to make sure that our roads and our infrastructure are being properly maintained in a timely manner.
Patrick Von Dahlen, a small business owner and candidate for District 9, says his priority is to improve the quality of life in San Antonio.
And so I care a great deal about what's happening in the city of San Antonio and the quality of life, not just for my family, but for all families. And so we have to get back to basics. We have to get back to business. And we have to get back SA Blue. So back to basics is a situation where we need to get away from pet projects. We need to get away from moving monuments.
For more information on any candidate, visit the Bexar County Elections Department website, bexar.org. The last day for early voting will be on April 27th. Election day will be on May 1st. I'm Armando Villarreal, Enlace.
Don't go anywhere. We have the latest in Jaguar Sports and the All-Star Game.
Buenas, los saluda Alejandro Diaz y bienvenidos a Jaguar Sports, listo como siempre para traer lo mejor del mundo deportivo. Pitazo inicial y entramos de lleno al diamante de softball del complejo Tejeda, donde las Jaguars de A&M San Antonio se enfrentaron a las Saints de Our Lady of the Lake en lo que sería la serie inaugural del clásico del Highway 90 de San Antonio. Y bueno, ya en la acción las Jaguars lucharon, pero la ofensiva de Our Lady of the Lake fue demasiado para contener y así se llevaron el primer juego por 2-0 y en el segundo juego por 4-1. Para las Jaguars, Madeline Arellano se reportó con la única carrera de los dos juegos. Pasamos ahora a la duela de la NBA, donde los Spurs de San Antonio siguen con su mala racha en casa. Esta vez cayeron de manera contundente ante el Heat de Miami por 107-87 en el AT&T Center. Los Spurs venían de ganar sus dos juegos de visitante ante Phoenix e Indiana, pero esta vez no lograron continuar por la senda de la victoria. DeMar DeRozan se reportó con 15 puntos y Derrick White agregó 13 más para los Spurs, que continúan en la 10ª posición de la Conferencia del Oeste. Y bueno, cambiamos la duela del básquet por el césped de fútbol para hablar del San Antonio FC, que continúa con su preparación de cara al inicio de la temporada. Pues bien, el equipo de la ciudad del Álamo tendrá su último juego de pretemporada este sábado 24 de abril, cuando reciba a los Toros del Valle de Río Grande en el Toyota Field. Luego de este juego, a los rojinegros les espera el debut de la temporada ante los Switchbacks de Colorado Springs el 1 de mayo, que por cierto también será en el Toyota Field y tendrá capacidad limitada. Buena suerte para el San Antonio FC. Un nuevo juego de las estrellas para los jugadores de fútbol americano de high school del sur de Texas espera darle a los atletas más exposición a los medios y una nueva oportunidad para los reclutadores de universidades para que vean de lo que son capaces. Robby Chavez nos trae más de este nuevo juego.
All right, South Texas, are you ready for some more football? Because I got just the news you want to hear. The South Texas Coaches Association has put together an all-star game for players in South Texas. Team West versus Team East, May 22nd, 2021 at Pleasanton Stadium. I talked with President Coach House and got his thoughts.
Well, one of the big things that we did is me and Coach Escobar over in Creaser Springs and a couple other coaches, we're talking about how, we only sent one kid or no kids to the San Antonio All-Star game, and how we want our kids to get represented. We want our kids to get a shot.
Coaches just want to make sure their players get the coverage they deserve. Some of their players were selected for the San Antonio All-Star game, but few of them played any reps, and even fewer were selected for the game. So hopefully this is a new platform that gives these players and coaches the much needed attention they deserve. Robby Chavez, Enlace.
Bueno, eso era todo lo que les tenía para hoy, pero nos vemos la próxima con más de Jaguar Sports. And after the break, Santa Perez brings us a new episode of Have You Seen This Yet?
Welcome back to Have You Seen This Yet? This week, I'll be giving a review for the independent movie Monday. As always, be prepared for spoilers.
This romantic dramedy, like many others, had to be pushed back due to the COVID-19 pandemic and had its world premiere on September 11th, 2020, before making its way to the States on April 16th of this year. The movie star attractive leads Sebastian Stan of Marvel Cinematic Universe fame and Denise Go. And like the actors, the setting and direction are rather beautiful, though that may be to distract from the vivid flaws the lead characters possess. Not only that, the development of said characters are not all that impressive and just make for run-of-the-mill, barely two-dimensional, superficial people that take over these kinds of movies. However, another way to see this is that the characters are more real because of the little change they go through, as well as the barely there limitations they have for one another. So, it will be up to viewers to decide for themselves. Was this movie able to capture a realistic, tumultuous relationship? Or did it simply fumble throughout as it failed to see these characters as layered individuals and a couple, and depend more on the sensual chemistry and shared humor between them? Monday is now playing in select theaters and available to rent on demand. This has been Santa Perez with Have You Seen This Yet?
That's all for this week's episode of Enlace. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and wear your masks.